For more, we're joined now by our Middle East correspondent Anne Barker. And good morning. This visit by the monitors was eagerly anticipated by the demonstrators. Take us through the chain of events as far as we know in Syria.
Sure. Michael, this team has been trying to get into Syria for several weeks. They were finally allowed into Damascus a few days ago, and today they visited Homs, the central city in Syria, which has really borne most of the brunt, in fact, or a lot of the brunt, if you like, of the violence in the last few months, where countless people have been killed and wounded. There were crowds, some say up to 70,000 people turned out to meet this team, that many people, anti-government protesters, wanted to put their case to the monitors. They were yelling, for example, some people were yelling out, "We want international protection." They were begging for foreign intervention in one form or another. One man yelled out, "Where is the world?" And they followed the monitors as they walked around the streets of Homs, showing them shattered buildings that have been shelled in recent days, even pools of blood still on the streets, where one man said, "That blood there is the blood of my son." So this Arab League team is a preliminary team. They hope to set the groundwork, if you like, for future teams of monitors. Up to 500 monitors that could be allowed into Syria in the next few weeks. But there is, of course, a bit of scepticism as to what they may achieve if those visits do go ahead.
And the demonstrators are claiming that the Syrian security forces withdrew deliberately from places like Homs before the monitors arrived.
That's right. Both people on the streets and human rights groups are saying that there were tanks and troops, if you like, taken off the streets very shortly before the monitors arrived, that the town, in fact, had been attacked for 5 continuous days until shortly before, and that a lot of these tanks are being hidden in university, for example, in Homs, or even fields just outside the city, and that they've been hidden on government sort of territory, if you like, in a way that they can be redeployed very quickly, presumably after the monitors leave.
And you made the point earlier, Anne, that it's all very well for these monitors to be allowed in, but there's no obligation or requirement by the Syrian regime to do anything about whatever they report.
That's right. I mean, even though Syria has sort of agreed in principle in previous weeks that it will accept this plan by the Arab League to end the violence, in the days and weeks after that agreement, really nothing seems to have changed on the ground. So these monitors are hoping to go to all parts of Syria, especially cities where there has been violence in the last 9 months. There will be monitors all through the country, but really there's no suggestion that what they come up with will in any way change the situation on the ground as we've seen to date. And one final question concerning your patch there in Israel. There have been heavy protests there today directed at ultra-Orthodox Jews. That's right. There's been a large protest just outside Jerusalem where ultra-Orthodox men in particular have been criticised for the way they treat women. There's a growing push by ultra-Orthodox men to segregate women and men in their daily lives. For example, asking women to walk on one side of the street, men on the other. One very young girl, 8 years old, I believe, was apparently harassed on her way to school this week for supposedly wearing immodest clothing. Even though she is an Orthodox Jew herself, she was apparently spat on, and that's really what has incited some of these protests where there were clashes with police. Even the Israeli president has now come out on the side of the protesters, saying that Israelis must unite behind a campaign to protect the majority of Israelis against the hands of the minority, that is the ultra-Orthodox Jews. OK, we'll leave it there. Anne Barker in Jerusalem, thank you very much. Thanks, Michael.